All right, so we're here in our studio and we're talking a little bit about the arts today. We've got an incredible guest for you. It's the wonderful Sarah Fizell, the Executive Director of ARTSConnect, is joining us here today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's good to see you. Glad to have you back in the studio with us. We've got some really important news to be breaking today. We've got the scholarships, the grants that have just gone out for ARTSConnect.
Yeah, the city of Topeka allocated some money in the city budget, and ARTSConnect raised some money on our own at an event that we'll talk about here in a few minutes. That's an annual thing, and we just had an overwhelming response from the community about an unfulfilled need, and we're glad to get to meet that need a little bit.
There were two categories of grants. Talk a little bit about that.
Yep, we did one sort of pot of money and application was for public art projects, and then the other section was for programs that increase access to arts education and arts experiences for people, not necessarily kids, not necessarily adults, but for as many people as we could possibly get to.
Okay, so let's start with the public arts.
Okay, so public arts, there's a wall called the Great Mural Wall that's behind the Expo Center, and so we just some grant money was given to them to complete the final panels of that wall.
It's very exciting.
For those of you who are in Topeka, you'll know that at about 11th and Kansas Avenue, there's a crazy weird looking water tower that is, I don't even think it's actually a water tower anymore, but it is of architectural interest, and it's sort of a little landmark kind of thing. And they are going to light that with LEDs so that it can be changed during games, during times of the year, during all kinds of things like that. And so it becomes sort of a beacon from the highway that you're approaching Topeka, other than, of course, the Capitol building and the Ad Astra.
We're doing some cool lighting effects with that. It's going to be very cool.
Yep, and the Topeka Metro Transit Authority, which is our public, the bus system here, they're going to do some artwork in the main station on Quincy Street. And they have a history of doing art there, and it really is an opportunity to brighten that space that touches so many lives in our community that don't often have access to the arts and to that kind of experience.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Arts Access grants now.
Okay, so
lots of great organizations that applied.
There were a lot, and it was a really hard decision. And because it's our first year, we really tried to keep the guidelines not too stringent so that we could get kind of a census of what the need was in the community. And the finalists there's sort of a group that all do after, school-based programs. So it's the Mulvane Art Museum does after-school programs all over in Shawnee County. An organization called Noto Art Reach, and they're going to do classes for the kids who are at the rescue mission through Quincy School, which is an elementary school over there in North Topeka. So if you're a resident at the rescue mission, you that's where you would go if you're a kid, elementary age. The Totoncine Society, which does the Dia de los Muertos Festival in October, they're bringing a puppet theater in from Mexico to do some hands-on puppet training puppet theater experiences for kids at Scott and at Quincy. And then the Kansas Ballet Company is going to take advantage of the stage and performing arts infrastructure that exists at State Street Elementary School to do some of they have space before school where they don't have any programming. And so they're going to work to program that with ballet education.
So many wonderful organizations that have applied, and I got to be on that committee, and there was such a huge stack of applications that we went through. It took so much time, hours and hours.
I think it was we spent 3 hours, I think, sitting around a table trying to make this happen. And it was a tough decision. It
was great, but it shows how great our arts community is here, and so many people wanting to do some really creative things.
Yeah. We also have the Craftivists, who are a group of women who were involved with the YWCA Center for Safety and Empowerment, which is the domestic violence shelter here in town. They're going to run a weekly art program for the women and children involved who are survivors of domestic violence. Grace Cathedral runs a series of music concerts and art called Great Spaces Music and Art Series. They receive some dollars. Aaron Douglas Art Fair does some hands-on arts experiences during the fair. The Last Minute Folk Concert Series, which are performances of folk music at the university. Last Minute Folk series at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship here in Topeka, the Symphony Society for their youth ensembles, TARC, who does a really cool individually tailored program of arts for the adults who are there at TARC with developmental disabilities, who require a lot of the tools that most of us would be able to use for art to just normally, they have to be modified so that they can use them. And so it's sort of a more intense process that eliminates them from other art experiences. Topeka Community Concert Association is going to do some free tickets for kids, and every kid that gets one, a parent gets a ticket too, so that they can make sure to get to the show. And the Lutheran Fine Arts Council of Topeka is going to do a weekend theater camp for 40 kids at Topeka Civic Theater.
It's going to be so cool to
amazing.
see the amazing things that are going to be happening here in Topeka. We're going to take a real quick break, but when we come back from the break, we're going to tell you about an opportunity you have to party with us and at the same time contribute some money so that maybe next year we have some more money to give out, right?
Yep.
We certainly want to say thank you to the City of Topeka and our City Council members who put some money in the budget to make sure that the arts are protected and well represented here in the City of Topeka. So very cool for them, right?
Yep, it is. It's been a process of helping them understand why this funding is critical, and we not only have a supportive council, but we have a very supportive mayor who all worked really hard to make this happen, and we couldn't be more grateful. Kind of on behalf, I feel like it's such an honor to be able to even say that, but kind of on behalf of the arts community in this city, we really sincerely thank them for that support.
Great. Well, don't go away, folks. Right after the break, we're going to be talking about the Midsummer Night's Dream Party coming up at the Dillon House.
This episode brought to you by Field of Greens and The Break Room, because TV 25 cares.